They're off. Welcome once again, everybody, to the Wrestling Inc. podcast. We'll start this over. Maybe we can edit that out in post.
That's
funnier if it's not.
There's no need.
There's no need.
That's an unfair poll because Morgan knows if he's asking people who they dislike and I'm on the poll, I'm definitely going to eat the shit. So, fair. No, look, I agree with what Matt was saying. Nia Jax not winning the Rumble, but she's still a hot commodity. She's bigger than all the other girls, so she can, be booked with a certain legitimacy. So she is the one that's probably going to lose out on this. Asuka's still going to go for a title match. Ronda's still going to have a high-profile match, whether it's with Triple H and Stephanie or however it comes down. So, yeah, Nia's probably going to be the odd woman out in this. I can't say that. And on top of that, the creative storyline that Nia had with Enzo Amore and the romantic role, that's now been gone to the can because Enzo's gone. So Nia has lost out on a lot of ways, and she's done nothing wrong herself.
Yeah.
It's not like they were using them anyway, though. It's not like, she would have just been another multi-person. Really, since Enzo, the whole thing with Enzo happened, she's kind of had, she's kind of been in limbo. So, this brings a focus on the division, but, again, it doesn't look like she's going to be wrestling any of the women at WrestleMania. It looks like it's going to be something with Stephanie and Triple H. So I can see why she's upset, but overall, I think it's going to do better for the division than if she wasn't there.
I don't know. One women's match tonight. Hell of a match between Sasha and Asuka. We'll get to that. News that broke right before the show. Bayley taped a match for main event. So that's how that's working out for her.
Wow, Bayley's.
Who cares?
Yeah.
There's such a disconnect with Bayley. It's amazing. I was down in Full Sail watching Bayley and Sasha with the first ever Iron Woman's match. It's amazing to see how she's gone from that to how she is now. There's just such a disconnect.
I thought it was impossible. I thought it was impossible for them to do that. I really did. She was the one I said is their next cash cow for merch. And I said it was impossible for them to mess her up.
Well, Matt, what I think has been a problem with her is, when she did NXT, same cult crowd, same following, a lot of the same fans. So she really becomes theirs. Now she's going to these, 10, 15,000 person arenas, and you're like, okay, here's this chick who has no fire under her. She has no aggression. She just wants to hug everybody, and you're kind of like, who is this? And it's so especially if you're, if you're an adult bringing your kid to these shows, you're like, who's this? Who's this 20-something brunette who just wants to hug me?
A good role model for my kid. You know what I mean? If I'm a parent, you know what I mean?
No. Her motive could connect, but it does not. The formula of how they presented it, 180 from how it was in NXT, where she was like a cult. Where she was a cult with the most positive, loving, notion to it.
Yeah. I got you. I know what you're saying. The one thing I just want to say really quickly. The Rousey, Raj, it could be anybody, is that WWE makes whoever they bring in much larger than their own stars. If you remember back in the day, they brought Mr. T in. I'm sorry, they haven't brought anybody in other than Mike Tyson, who was bigger than Mr. T in his heyday, okay? And do you remember Hulk Hogan was seen on the same level, right? Roddy Piper even to a degree. You right? So my thing is excuse my language, bleep this out, I'm giving you advance notice. Viewers, block or whatever the hell you are, listeners, block your ears. Instead of dick riding every celebrity that comes in, make your guys and girls look on the same level.
Well, they're going to make Stephanie look at the same level.
Yeah. Yep.
Look, I totally get the people being upset. Looks like there's something wrong with my mic. Ultimately, Ronda is not there for one WrestleMania. If everything is to be believed, she's there full time. So I'm guessing that's a Brock schedule. She's going to be around. Ultimately, she's going to be working with these ladies. And let's face it, this whole women's revolution, a lot of that was spurred on by Ronda Rousey's success in the UFC and WWE feeling they were behind the curve because of how big she was getting. So, but I totally understand people being frustrated.
Yeah.
I like her there. I'm just saying, make the others on the same level. Stone Cold to me was on the same level as Mike Tyson.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
And actually, that's the thing. So tonight, I mean, with the Ronda announcement, they opened the show with the recap of that last night. First and foremost, that's what they're showing. That surprise and her coming out. They reshowed it again later in the episode. But they even remarked after the Braun Kane match, which we'll get to in our rundown, but they even remarked, oh, tonight, so many more people are tuning in. Everyone's here. Everyone's paying attention. And then zero news, no announcement. I mean, the Meltzer piece went up last night saying Ronda will likely be in a mixed tag match at WrestleMania. Today in the Dudley Boyz announcement, buried in that article, was saying Ronda will be making her in-ring debut at WrestleMania. But I feel like for the fans that are paying attention tonight, kind of stiffed, right? I mean,
this was, you know, for the fact that WWE tries to tout the big four shows and do a big weekend with, you know, NXT, the pay-per-view, and then Raw, SmackDown. This was a huge anti-climactic after Rumble episode. There's no Ronda. There's no Taker. Braun's done in the first 30 minutes. I mean, you know, there's no Brock. I mean, this is supposed to be the start of the road to WrestleMania, and this was wildly anticlimactic. Maybe tomorrow on SmackDown, maybe Ronda shows up there. Okay, so whatever. But still, tonight's Raw, huge dip down.
Yeah, that was. I don't remember them doing that, you know, in years past, where you have nothing happen on the post Royal Rumble show. I mean, you know, I think that's the problem now. We got 2 pay-per-views before WrestleMania now with the brand split. So
I'm not convinced I'm still not convinced. I mean, I was there in Manhattan Center last week when Taker gave his vague promo. I'm still not convinced Taker's done. And I tweeted earlier and said, okay, Cena versus Finn, if that goes on last, I could hear a gong going off there.
Sure.
And we just got nothing. I got nothing.
It was weird. I mean, that whole thing was, I'm guessing it's building to some storyline where Cena was upset with the crowd, and even though he's been booed for the last 10 years, so all of a sudden tonight he's upset with the crowd booing him. I don't know how that leads into Taker. If, you know, that is where they're going. Where it definitely seems like it. So it was odd.
Well, let me ask where you guys were at today with this. So I tweeted this out early this morning. When's the last time you saw this many people talking about pro wrestling the morning after a pay-per-view? I was glued today to Wrestling Inc., to Twitter, seeing what was happening, the Dudley Boyz announcement, seeing the hype, the speculation. So excited for Raw tonight. I had very high expectations that we were going to take last night's feel-good Royal Rumble, the big bombshell at the end, and move forward to really start building up WrestleMania and building anticipation. Matt, how did you feel today before the show? Sort of your post-mortem on last night, and were your expectations met tonight?
I'll be honest, I don't know how I would determine if others were talking more about wrestling or less today. You know, I'm on Instagram more than I am Twitter, to be honest. So it's different, you know what I mean? The social media is very different in that regard. It's not as newsworthy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just post pictures of videos and branding and shit like that. Anyways, but like none of my friends said anything different, you know what I mean? None of my mainstream friends that will watch WrestleMania and that's it for the year really said anything other than they heard obviously about Ronda being there.
Yeah.
Also, I did expect Ronda to be on tonight's episode with what they hyped.
Yeah.
I will say this, from a site traffic perspective, this has been the busiest weekend since last year's WrestleMania ever. Yeah, since last year's WrestleMania. So it's the second of all time. And this January has been our biggest January. And we still got a couple days to go, but already it's the biggest January of all time. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of crazy stories this month with, you know, the Raw 25,
that's true.
Enzo stuff.
And Enzo as well, yeah.
Yeah, and then also the Reign stuff that got a lot of people talking there for a little bit.
It is the first January I've contributed to the site, by the way.
Oh, well, there you go. But what a positive last night, though, right? Okay, so the WWE really did not have a great week last week. You had the Enzo thing came out, the Roman thing came out, Raw 25, a lot of people were dissatisfied about it. Vince made his XFL announcement. Those old allegations against Vince from 2006 resurfaced. Yep. It was kind of a shitty week for the WWE.
Well, the XFL was a positive. The Roman thing was a couple weeks ago. I mean, they look at it as a positive. And then the allegations that came out about Vince, we got to remember those were 11 years old, and those were already played out in the media. So it was It was them grasping at straws just to get his name out,
Absolutely. Not giving weight one way or the other to those. But what I'm saying is that it seemed like last week was not the crowning 25th anniversary of Raw week and kickoff of the XFL. There was a lot of skepticism in the XFL stories and coverage that I saw.
Not to drag our on here, because I know it's like my gimmick here. But I can tell you this from being in New York last Monday for Raw 25. All right, thank you, Matt, for being in Raw last week. I can tell you this: they cut all of our media access at the same hour that the Enzo stuff came out. So that came out at a horrible time. I'm in New York City. I'm there. I'm ready to do all the stuff that I've been prepared to do for media-wise. They cut a lot of access because of – I could tell they did not want to have to field any questions about the Enzo stuff, especially from the more mainstream media who's who doesn't know what questions to ask, what not questions to ask. So.
Last night – all in all, I think now I know we had some issues with some of the spots. I know there were some nitpicks about the men's rumble, the women's rumble, but it seemed like all in all, the sentiment was very good last night, as close to universally positive as I've ever seen reaction to a WWE pay-per-view. Yes, of course, there were some people that didn't like it, but more than not only did people seem to appreciate the nostalgia factor, the quality specifically of the men's rumble, but additionally, the Ronda surprise, one of the best surprises they've ever done at the end of a pay-per-view. And in fact, to a point Raj made a couple times on this podcast, kind of weird also they didn't save that for Raw. What do you think the Royal Rumble got last night on the network? I mean, Raw being on free TV, the numbers were bigger. That's where tonight, I bet you Raw does a huge rating tonight because of the news stories today. But a lot of people, I don't know that they'll be back next week if the WWE is going to drag its feet with progressing the storyline.
They did nothing. They did nothing whatsoever to provide an entertainment magnet for people to come back next week. Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a standard show tonight.
It was a cool main event.
Yeah, it was good. I thought it was overall a decent show. I thought it was pretty good. But for a post-Rumble show that's supposed to be building on the momentum from this huge weekend, it did nothing.
I'll guarantee when the viewership numbers come out that the viewership goes down every hour as Raw went on tonight.
Yeah, the third hour will be there'll be a big drop from the first, probably.
So we'll see, folks. Again, per Meltzer, the rumor is a mixed tag match with Ronda, and they're hoping for The Rock against Triple H and Stephanie at WrestleMania. And I think that's kind of reality setting in the speculation. We were talking about it last night. Is she be going against Charlotte? Is she going to be going against Alexa? I called
it last night, didn't I? That she was probably doing something with Triple H and Steph.
I'll say this: if Braun does not, if they don't pull a last minute change at the Chamber, if Braun does not go into the title match against Brock, I still say the best course of action then is to have Braun and Rousey against Triple H and Steph. Braun needs a high profile match. If it's not going to be for the title, if it's not going to be against Taker, Braun needs a high profile match. The Miz is a great heel, and I've heard the Meltzer rumors of Miz versus Braun, but I'm sorry, an Intercontinental match is beneath where Braun's at.
Definitely, yes. I would love that next tag. I would love that. That's exactly what he would need. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it would have been good if you had Brock drop it before and you had Brock and Rousey against Triple H and stuff, since you had the UFC connection with Brock and Rousey.
That would be quite a different direction.
It would be. I mean, they're not doing it, but.
Well, and that's what we don't know yet. I mean, we don't know what Ronda's character is going to be coming in, how they're going to present her and whatnot. I mean, I'm looking forward to it, man. I mean, tonight, once it kind of sunk in and I wrapped my mind around it, was really looking forward tonight to seeing what they were going to do with that. And yeah, it's going to be a slow drip, I think, until we get to Mania. So, and if they're paying more attention to the women's division, I mean, that's great. Look, tonight, so they opened the show, Stephanie McMahon came out, and that's what I thought was interesting about it, to even tell the crowd straight up, but tonight isn't about Ronda Rousey, it's about Asuka. Like,
I like that.
I like the in sentiment too, but look at what the WWE just spent the last 24 hours doing.
I don't know.
It's Nia Jax's tweet in a nutshell.
Did she pick anybody, by the way? Did I miss something?
In regards to,
Did Asuka make her pick?
I don't believe so.
She didn't. She just yelled she's going to be champion.
Yes.
That was the other thing. I don't want to be whatever the word is here, but I don't get into her coming out having this promo, which is very critical because in my opinion, her moment's been overshadowed by Ronda the night before. I don't like Asuka coming out and cutting half her promo in Japanese. I just don't. I'm sorry.
And just if you're writing that, half the crowd is going to start chanting what? That's the Philly crowd. I mean,
I think Vince McMahon gets a bigger kick out of her doing that than probably just about anything.
Does he though? Does he? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That just it's. And again, I'm not trying to. I know people are going to criticize me. I just think it's just ridiculous to come out and you have your first ever women's Rumble winner who's already been overshadowed the night before, and she's coming out and she cuts little. I mean, if she spoke for 60 seconds, 30 seconds of it, if not more, was in a foreign language, and yeah, so you're going to get the what chance. You're going to get a kind of a flat response. I don't get that.
And especially when her English part of the promo was really good. I thought it was
very small, though. I mean, would you rather have?
That's all you needed.
Yeah, I mean, look at Shinsuke though. When Shinsuke's done those promos where it sounds like he phonetically worked it through beat by beat, I think I'd prefer what she did tonight. I think it kind of works. But regardless, Sasha interrupting, setting up their match for later in the show. I mean, good that they're giving Sasha the spotlight. Thought that was a smart move. And I think Sasha's going back. We're seeing shades of the legit boss heel.
We are.
Which is great. So Jonathan Coachman joined tonight. Booker T is back to the pre-show.
Good. See ya.
Yeah, they were throwing some shade at him with those comments tonight. What did you think of Coachman, Matt?
Like he never left.
Yeah.
Like he never left. He's a pro's pro. He's always been good.
So let's talk about the match tonight, the last man standing match with Kane and Braun Strowman. Winner goes to the Elimination Chamber. Mm-hmm. We've talked about these spectacles before. So Matt, I know you've been a fan of when they do these things with Braun. How do you think this measured up tonight? Do you think it was over the top what they did with flipping that whole stage and whatnot?
Absolutely not. That was that was great because it wasn't so gimmicked.
Yeah.
That was shoot Strowman, shoot picking up the stage. You can't fake that. The weight of that, I'm saying. You know what I mean? So that was cool as hell. It was impressive as hell. And it's right up his alley on how to continue to book this guy like a friggin' monster, paint by numbers. There's nothing wrong with paint by numbers when you're booking a big man.
No, and to further what Matt's saying, the biggest key to it, it was done in front of the live crowd. It wasn't a pre-tape that was done with fancy camera angles. It was done in front of the live crowd. So there's no mistaking seeing him do what he's doing.
And the best part was he's getting so comfortable. He took his time. He didn't look cartoonish by going too much over the top with the whole, what do we have here? Nonverbal body language. He took his time with it. It looked realistic of him looking around. What can I friggin' gut this mother effer with, And sees where he's at, lines that stuff up. It looked realistic and not cartoonish. You know what I mean? And again, it just played off really good in front of a live crowd. It showcases his strengths, which is his strength. I don't know. I thought it was cool.
Raj, how about you? And do you think this is a way to get Kane off TV for a while now? Or do you think he's going to come back and they're going to have another match?
They said later that he sat up in the hospital bed, right?
Crawled out of the hospital.
Medical facility. Medical facility. I
think they're going to do a blow-off at Elimination Chamber. I don't think this is it yet.
What do you mean? He'll be in the match?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I guess not. Because did they ever make it clear that Braun won? I know they announced him later.
Braun, they announced it later. He was in it for sure. He was on the
they showed the graphic. Yeah.
Right, but they never did the count and ring the bell or anything. It's just...
Well, the ref screamed to ring the bell and that it was over. They didn't do the count, but they said the match was over. And then later they showed Braun, Elias, and Cena in the graphic.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess that is over because they're not going to do it at Mania. And they're not going to drag this thing on for longer than that. So, Kane's been looking a little out of shape. I'm guessing he probably wants to get back to campaigning and and not into this.
Guys, do you know how much I lost? 26 pounds during my campaign. You know what I mean? It's incredibly stressful. I can't believe he's doing both. I really can't. It's impressive.
Yeah.
No, definitely. So we went from that to Elias versus Woken Matt Hardy, and they said the B word tonight. We got broken, dropped a few times. Braun Strowman interfering with this match, distracting Matt, and Elias picking up the win. So, Raj, what do you think about the fact that the feud now looks like between Bray and Matt Hardy is not over?
Oh, God. I mean, they've done a number on Matt. I feel like he's kind of back to where he was before he became Woken, right? I mean, he was kind of just this guy that gets beat every week, and he looks hurt. Like, he came out, he was kind of looked like he was hiding a limp, and he just looks kind of injured. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Matt, you've been saying that for a while. Like, he's been looking
against the ropes. Anything offensively he does that has movement in it, he always looks to me like it's his hip or something. You know what I mean? Like he's limping.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know.
Is it just me, or do these Bray Wyatt feuds just last forever? They just feel like they never end. I mean, Bray Wyatt beat him clean last week. That's, why is that not it? Are they good? I mean, maybe they're doing a thing at the compound. He's been talking about it, but I don't want to see it keep going.
Then keep him off TV. You know what I mean? Let's come back to it after 4 or 5 weeks off. I don't know.
We I think we will by Elimination Chamber. We will get a out of the arena type match from them, compound type of thing.
House of Horrors Part 2.
But do you think anyone cares at this point?
I think if they did the gimmick at Matt the way they did it for TNA, I think that would be cool. But I don't know. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, don't want to dwell too much on that.
But Elias is in the chamber.
Yeah.
Elias is getting over, man. He's a star now.
It's good, man. I mean, so schizophrenic with that booking tonight, putting Braun over, putting Elias over, and then sorry, Finn, Cena's gotta work another main event of a pay-per-view.
Wait till we get to that segment.
Yeah. Before we go further, though, we're going to talk about Roman Reigns versus The Miz in a moment, but got to give some love to the sponsor of this episode, and that is SeatGeek. So you've heard us talk about it before. Buying tickets to sports and concerts can be so complicated and confusing, but there's a better way to buy, and that is SeatGeek. It's the smartest, easiest way to get tickets for every type of live event. Whether you're searching for a last-minute deal, planning a night out, or just need to find the perfect gift, SeatGeek helps you find the best seats at the best prices, and they're fully guaranteed. There is nothing quite like seeing your favorite team, musician, wrestler in person, and SeatGeek will get you closer to the action for a great value. Now, you've heard us talk about this. I have the SeatGeek app on my phone. So does Raj. Raj used it for Broncos tickets for Lady Gaga. I used it for Hamilton, WWE. I was looking tonight. Oh, my God. Matt, you're going to make fun of this. There's a musical coming to San Francisco based on the music. Based on just that right there gets a laugh out of Matt Morgan. Based on the music of the 80s band The Go-Go's. And I have to see this. So I opened up SeatGeek, scored myself tickets for the week it's in previews.
I used it today for Bon Jovi tickets.
That somehow tops what I just said, Raj.
Hells yeah, Bon Jovi, man. I probably listened to "Living on a Prayer" and "You Give Love a Bad Name" about 10,000 times, in my life, and finally, I've never seen him in concert, so I'm pumped.
We're seeing that. I wish I should have told you guys and given you a heads up or texted you, but my mom, I can't believe this is how old I am now. My mom was going to get tickets for it, and I got her to go on the website and get it through SeatGeeks, and me and my wife were going to be going too. Love Bon Jovi. I'm the same as you.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's like Guns N' Roses last year, Bon Jovi this year, so that's pretty much my checklist. Metallica and I'm good.
Yeah.
But that site was so easy to use. I've never been on there before. That was really easy.
No, it's true. No, absolutely. You will not be living on a prayer if you use SeatGeek, because it is designed to make your ticket buying experience easier than ever. SeatGeek saves you time and money by searching multiple ticket sites to compare prices and find you amazing deals. And to get you the most bang for your buck, SeatGeek grades every ticket based on value to help you immediately identify the best seats that fit your budget. Plus, every purchase is fully guaranteed, so you can shop for tickets on SeatGeek with confidence. Make SeatGeek your go-to app for finding the best deals on every type of ticket: sports, concerts, comedy, theater, professional wrestling, and I'm sure Bon Jovi is coming to your town. And best of all, you can get $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Just download the SeatGeek app and enter the promo code INC today. That's promo code INC for $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase.
Yeah, if you're looking for WrestleMania tickets, check it out, because they got WWE tickets on there, so you get that $20 off using that promo code. And NXT and Raw and SmackDown the following night, so definitely use it.
Absolutely love having SeatGeek as a sponsor. And man, can you believe it? SummerSlam tickets go on sale this weekend.
Wow.
We'll be here before we know it, man. Time just keeps flying by. So let's talk about The Miz versus Roman Reigns, the rematch for the Intercontinental title. Matt, what did you think of this match tonight?
I didn't understand the reason for it to begin with. But the match itself was good. You know, I'm in favor of anything with Miz generally. But I don't know. Roman doesn't have to always be on. You know, he doesn't have to always be on the show.
I was surprised that they had Miz beat Roman again, considering that Roman's going to be in the world title match at Mania. I mean, I'm sure it's forgotten by then, but
well, it was the Miz Taraj really that made it all possible.
Yeah, but still, they could have done a DQ, they could have done a count out, they could have done, any sort of thing to me.
Raj, to me, it tipped their hand a little bit that they are going to go with Braun versus Miz, because this was to make the Intercontinental Championship look better, Miz look better. You know what I mean? So it's opinion.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they're doing Ronda and a partner against Triple H and Steph, The Rock, usually he can't do it because of his movie schedules, and he's filming or promoting during that time. He really doesn't have. He's got Black Adam coming up, but I don't think they start filming that for a little bit. But I don't know. I don't know if they'd be able to get him. Even if it's a couple months away from starting to film, I'm sure they wouldn't want him to do it. It might get tough to ensure, but
I hope Braun's is her tag partner. I'm just saying I don't think it is. I think tonight they tipped their hand.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
it's clear they're building Miz up for something big, and Braun, it makes sense.
Yeah. Justin, what did you think of the match?
I mean, the match was good. I agree with what Matt said. I don't know why they had it. I think they really need to do away with this whole contractual thing they make public about how every time you lose a title, you get an automatic rematch, because we just get booked in these circles. It was a good match. I mean, Miz is great. Obviously, Roman got crapped on by the Philly crowd. Roman's really good. Matt, you're more.
He is.
You're more qualified to say this than what I am, but I'm going to say it. Roman's very good. Roman sells his ass off. He's good. There's a large vocal portion of the crowd that wants to just, here we go, shit on him, and it pisses me off. But it is what it is. He's good. Him versus Miz is great in terms of, Miz is such a quality heel. Roman works his ass off. Roman gets booed, obviously, by the crowds. But so I love watching these two guys. I think they have great chemistry. But I don't like the concept. I don't like the whole, Roman gets to invoke a rematch. I don't want to see that again. I don't care about the concept. The match itself is good, though.
A couple of people in the comments are pointing out that Shazam started filming, which is a DC Comics movie. The Rock was once attached to it, but I think he's no longer attached to that once he got his own Black Adam villain,
though. He's Shazam's primary villain.
Right, but he's not the main villain in this first one.
Yeah.
He was just supposed to I think he was supposed to make an appearance at first, and then now he's not in it.
Okay.
So there was that. But I about The Miz, I thought this was his best match in a long time. Like, if you look at it in just match quality, I thought this was his best match, and I can't remember how long. I thought it was really good.
Me too.
The crowd was into it. They were buying a lot of the false finishes, and it was a good match. But I agree, it just it didn't seem needed. But it's not like they had anything else better.
Well, what were they going to do? Have Roman qualify for Elimination Chamber tonight in Philly? Like, that wouldn't have gone well.
Right.
It'll go better next week in Des Moines, Iowa.
Oh, absolutely.
Actually, it will. Yeah.
It will.
Yeah.
So it's a smart move.
It is.
That's when he beats Jason Jordan in Des Moines, Iowa next week, it'll go better.
Yeah, or Sheamus or something.
Oh, my God. So the Revival tonight, keeping their streak going, man. Took on Rhino and Slater. Cut a promo after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were talking about old school wrestlers after. I think I like that they're getting to fully do their gimmick. I mean, Matt, is this the start of them living up to their potential for you on the main roster?
In their defense, they had some serious injuries, early on, as far as living up to their potential goes. I mean, they're flawless in that ring. So as far as living up to their potential goes, work-wise, they've always been there from day one. They're that good, and they're that friggin' flawless. But as far as I know what you're saying, as far as characters go and getting over with the crowd, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Living up to the potential. What I liked most about tonight, this was a great sign, Raj, because I remember we were saying how great. They just totally put them over on a no-name tag team and cut a promo, and I was excited for them. And you were like, yeah, all this just to be fed to DX. Watch. And I was like, oh, shit, I hope that's not the case. And they were fed to DX, but I'm sorry, Finn and company instead, but still the same thing. So I was worried about that. And then tonight gave me a good sign of confidence that they're going to go with them a little bit, I don't know where they fit in this tag team division as far as the championships go, etc. Maybe they're just remaining a secondary, maybe much needed secondary layer actually in the tag team division.
Go ahead, Raj. No, go ahead.
I was going to say another thing we were talking about, Matt, before is we were a little nervous because how Vince gets when someone gets injured a lot, and the fact that you had both of them with injuries pretty soon, like. And we could see them losing faith in him and not wanting to push him for a while. But so it looks like, they're over that. So, it's great to see because I love the Revival. I think they're great in the ring. So yeah, I'm glad that they're getting a chance to show what they can do.
My worry is that they're very much have that old school feel. I've joked on social media for a couple of weeks now that they should be wearing fanny packs and Ribera Steakhouse jackets.
And Zubaz
pants, absolutely. But my worry is, their whole gimmick is kind of this old school, and not every fan necessarily understands the jokes that we just made here. My worry is, I don't think Vince doesn't really live in the past. He doesn't embrace the past. He's always trying to just be current and move forward. So my worry is if these guys, if their deal is to be old school, if their deal is to be Arn and Ole type of thing, I worry that Vince is embraced to that and what they're going to do. Never mind their injury, never mind them staying healthy. That's my worry. And again, I'm speaking. I've never worked for WWE. I've never worked for Vince. Matt, you have. That's my worry is all the things I hear and gather is that if they try to really embrace this kind of like old school wrestling mentality, I don't know how far it's going to take them.
Yeah, because Vince never embraced the old school wrestling mentality. Like, even when they had Tully and Arn, they had the tag titles, but they weren't top of the card.
Vince hates to be wrestling. He hates it.
Oh, and they are. They remind me pre-Ted Turner when I was flipping channels as a kid, and you come on TBS and see the wrestling 100%. On there. Revival have been transported to modern day. But it works though now, right? Because they're unique in that they're the only guys doing this style.
That's why I think it works. I also think that they need, I'm not just giving my boys a plug, a tag team like the Young Bucks or someone for these guys to mock and start talking about their fists not flying or whatever the hell it's called, gimmick. You know what I mean? So you have the antithesis of them. Right now, we don't really have the antithesis of them just yet in a tag team division, right?
Yeah, it's like anyone that could be in that is kind of in the cruiserweight division.
Matt, do you think Vince would accept the young? I mean, I'm sure Vince can get educated by people around him. Saying, "Look, this is how popular these guys are, and how much money they make." Do you think Vince would tolerate a Young Bucks and the whole super kick gimmick?
No, I wish he did, and that's why I wanted to cut you off when you guys were saying how like he likes to be current. No, he's still not current. I think he's still very behind. I think he's right in the middle. Hence why we get the same. Was it Sheamus and Cesaro versus whomever every single week?
And not just that, but when they're doing those stupid those selfie things now, those selfie promos where they're walking,
Jesus Christ.
Well, with a selfie stick or whatever that is. I know they
6
think
years.
that's current, but oh my god,
6 years.
Good lord.
That would have been great 6 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously,
They're so
I was
annoying.
At TNA, I wanted to do that. They're stupid for not letting me. But as a heel, I wanted to. Well, I probably would have gotten cheered for it in their defense. So maybe it was smart on their part. But I wanted to go in the ring and go on Twitter and start making posts in the middle of my match and taking pictures of my opponent. Like with my hand, like doing this to him, you know what I mean? And holds and taking pictures. And
That would have been awesome.
And commentating on my own stuff, too.
That would have been awesome. I mean, that's much better than this. This is like holding your phone up and talking to your phone while you're trying to, push a wrestling match. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It just comes across as lame. So, but yeah, I mean, I just the Young Bucks. It's one of those things. I think that would be perfect because it's totally what they're against. With the the Revival are against. They're kind of like Drew Gulak in that way.
Yes.
And they don't have that natural flow.
Well, and didn't for a while the Young Bucks have a thing like a fuck the Revival thing?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they have to stop
They still
doing it.
do.
But yeah. They got cease and desisted over it though.
Was it that or was it just the suck?
That was the Too Sweet. Yeah.
It was.
It was a lot. It was that they can't even say F the Revival anymore. They were having the Ring of Honor crowd say it. It was so funny.
Oh man. Speaking of which, no cruiserweights tonight's show. Mentioning Drew Gulak there, and the GM is going to be announced tomorrow. Now, since last night, Wrestling Inc. had this today. This info: Rey Mysterio last night was a one-off. No deal is in place currently for him to do more with the WWE. Raj, do you think, based on the reaction that he got last night, that they're fast-tracking, trying to make something happen?
Well, I think it was PW Insider that said that there had been talks in the past, but WWE wants him full-time. Ray wants to do part-time. I think after they hear that response, you'd want to bring him in part-time. I think he adds a lot of value. I don't think Ray's not coming in cheap. He makes a ton of money right now in the indies. So to pay all that money for him to be a 205 Live GM or something like that would be a complete waste. Now, I had him as a SmackDown wrestler and then also doing a 205 Live, GM. I still think it makes him look like a lesser star by being associated with 205 Live.
It does.
But you can do that. But just 205 Live, I think, would be asinine.
So the indie company that I help work with here in Pittsburgh, every April we have a Night of Superstars show. In the past, we've had Ric Flair, Kevin Nash, a lot of big names. We have Rey Mysterio as our headliner coming up this April. So I can tell you this, Rey is still able to do his indie bookings. He's not being we had the Hardys last year, 6 days after they debuted at Mania. Rey is not doing a full-time WWE schedule exclusive. If I had to guess on a 205 Live GM, I would say Rockstar Spud.
Yeah. But also with the indies thing, you see people like try to get out of them once they do sign with WWE, or they're allowed to finish up their indie dates. But you're right, through April, that's a ways to go. He's got some stuff in the UK coming up. He's wrestling some reality TV star.
Isn't he getting like 10 to 20 grand a date?
Yeah, it's a lot.
He's coming in. He's fighting. I call him Shima. Zima Ion, as the TNA crowd knows him.
He was Shima.
Yeah. I mean, Shima's a guy who trained here with us. I mean, Matt, you know him, great guy. So we're doing that match. We think that's going to be a great match for fans to get. I can tell you what I can say. I know that Ray is able to do that still as of today. We talked to his people, so I don't think.
Hey, how can we see? Can we see that match somehow online or no?
It won't be live. We'll have a DVD out 7 days later.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's a hell of a match, man.
Speaking of hell of matches,
Matt, if you want to come up, I'll bring you up. Come on.
That's a fun match to watch. Seriously, not just blowing smoke.
No, come on up.
Where's my invite? prick.
There it is.
You're in Denver. Your flight's too much.
Raj Giri will put some butts in the seats. You know? Come out, take a bump. Raj, have you taken a bump in a ring before?
I have not.
Look at Glenn.
Yeah.
Glenn.
Just saying, you know, some people might really enjoy that.
Yeah.
Only if I can bump, Raj.
Only if you get what?
Only if I get to give you the bump.
Sasha Banks versus Asuka tonight, a match that had a lot of people on Twitter, including Vince Russo, Mick Foley, talking about these dangerous spots. Sasha doing that dive outside of the ring, looking like she was landing on her head, her neck. That was tough there. But Matt, to you first. What did you think of the match overall? Asuka won, obviously, but Sasha,
tremendous.
Yeah, most competitive match Asuka's had.
Tremendous match. I was loving where they were going with our girl Sasha. We've been begging them to start friggin' booking her as a heel again and take the gloves off. But I don't know. I'm not a mark enough to say if you lose a match, you know what I mean, that devastates you per se. But like, it's kind of like what we're gonna get to Finn later. I just think when you start getting behind someone, it's not smart to have them lose. You know what I mean? When you're just getting that momentum going. And I thought she really did a great job in the Rumble last night with her character. Don't you guys? She did a lot of different things in that Royal Rumble to stand out as a heel, I thought.
Yeah. No, I thought she had the most momentum after Asuka and Ronda. I think
I do too.
You know?
I feel like this could be a great, you know, we talk about how they don't do enough singles feuds for the women. I think this could be a great one. But this match, I thought it was the best women's match I've seen in a long time. I can't even remember the last time on Raw or on the main roster that we've seen one this.
Definitely. Yep.
I cringe, men or women, anytime they do the suicide dive to the middle ropes, you know, or the spear. You know, I see Big E do the spear to the middle ropes. It's so easy to get your feet caught to the ropes, or I don't know. I just feel like there's so many risks,
and it's not different anymore. It's not special anymore anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. You're risking.
So why
your
take
body.
the chance?
Exactly. You're risking your body for something that's not going to make you headlines the next day. I don't want to try to, you know, throw this back to 1985, but. Guys and girls, please stop doing them through the rope stuff. It's just,
or at least, you know, save it for a big show, not just a random Raw. You know,
well, you're gonna lose.
They should cut it out. They should cut it out. WWE's done this a million times. When I was there, I remember nobody could super kick. Nobody for about 8 months. None of us could throw chops on SmackDown.
Wow.
Because Rick was doing it on Raw. He was back in the ring again. We were doing a lot of things to protect each other's stuff, I remember, and it was mandated. And they need to do that with that dive.
Yeah, so Matt, from how you saw that, did it look like if she was just a few inches off, like that could have been a really serious injury?
Absolutely, yes.
That's what I thought when I saw it. Like she just got really lucky that.
Yeah, and she's so bendy. Go back to NXT and her matches with Bayley, and especially Charlotte. There's a lot of times where she's being suplexed and stuff like that. And she lands like on her neck every time. And you're like, oh, you always cringe. You think that's the one that hurts her. But I think, I'm not saying this to make her do this more, but I think because she's so bendy and so small and so flexible that I don't know. It just seems like she's able to do it somehow and not get hurt. I don't know,
man. I mean, we don't know yet even from tonight. I remember Lita finished that match with the broken neck.
That's a good point.
That's what it reminded me.
That was the same. That was the same thing too. The dive outside, except she hit the railing, or the barricade.
Oh man, great match though tonight. I really hope it leads to something. I think. Okay, so if this is going to have more spotlight on the women's division, we need more women's stories. I mean, look, the cruiserweights, whatever. Tonight, I understand we needed to set up things for Elimination Chamber with those qualifying matches, although 6 qualifying matches, really, we can't spread that out over 3 weeks. We have to do 3 and 3 to get them in 2. I just hope that we get some more storylines. Put Sasha, you know, if not feuding with Asuka, give her a story, give her something there, give Asuka something of substance. And where's Alexa in all this? You got your champ, you know, not even on TV. So Raw Tag Team title match tonight. The Bar defending against Titus Worldwide. Matt, what did you think of this match and sort of a re-debut of Apollo? A lot of people seem to look at this as, with him showing off his athleticism, a real showcase for his talents.
Okay, athletically, he's incredibly talented. He's a stud athlete, and then some. He is. But I'm sorry, I'm so over that act. I don't think I've ever not been over it. I think the minute I saw them for the first time, I was over it. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just not interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I love guys getting a second chance, like Titus is, you know what I mean? And getting a rebirth on TV, if you will. I'm just not interested in it.
Mm.
Yeah, I think they've done too much over the last year to make them look like nothing, to where it's hard to take them seriously now. So,
I was very surprised to see them on TV after Royal Rumble. That Royal Rumble, especially.
Since January, since they added Dana, they've picked up some wins against the Bar. I mean,
I don't care.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like when they all enter and do the worldwide thing. I think that's kind of neat.
I think Apollo's talented as hell, but this Titus thing is just
killing them.
Yeah, if they were doing something with it, they should have gotten him some big wins right off the bat when he was hooked up with Titus. But they had him losing right away, so you never took it seriously.
And a 6'6" jacked up body. 6'6" jacked up manager doesn't work either. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'll say this: Apollo, he was really great on the Indies. He's totally been 180 since being WWE.
Coming up from NXT.
You know, Titus is exactly. Titus is a guy who, I mean, I know he unfortunately he doesn't connect. And they rely on him because of his charitable stuff that he does. That's great. That's great out of the ring stuff, but he does not connect with the crowd. And that doesn't whether it's Philadelphia or Des Moines, Iowa next week, he doesn't connect.
Nope.
And that's just the reality. He doesn't connect. So
yeah. There were times when he was starting to, but they didn't really do much with
They
him.
booked him in the sad feud against Rusev where he lost, like representing America on the 4th of July, coming out.
Yeah.
No, was that him, or I thought that was Mark Henry.
No, that was with Rusev, and then there was the thing where he had his kids there on Father's Day.
Oh yeah,
and he kissed his son on the lips, which was really weird.
Yes,
he lost
that's right.
Rusev in front of his kids.
Nah, that's not weird.
It was.
I was gonna say. Well, hang on, really quick. One thing is, honestly, the closest he came to connecting was when he was tagging with Darren Young. I thought that's about it.
I agree.
Yeah. So the Bar retained Titus Worldwide. I'm sure will live to fight another day. We took a look again at the Ronda Rousey thing. I love that they just showed it twice. Just we have to. Oh, and Asuka won the Rumble, but let's talk about Ronda Rousey showing up. They had an update on Kane crawling out of the hospital. And then we had the main event, the Elimination Chamber qualifying match.
Medical facility.
Medical facility.
So Nikki Bella also kind of took a shot at this Ronda Rousey coverage.
What'd she do?
There was a tweet WWE put out saying, Ronda Rousey offers her candid thoughts just moments after shocking the WWE Universe at the Royal Rumble. And Nikki wrote, wonder what all the 30 other women's candid thoughts were too. Some shade, as the kids call it these days.
As the kids call
it. Well, it's weird they didn't do media with the other women, right? I mean, remember at that WrestleMania where Becky, Charlotte, and Sasha went, they had that opening match for all the girls that had been there to get them in. I mean, everyone was doing media. The WWE loves to put all of their female talent out there, talk about the women's evolution. And then last night, it's just Ronda.
AKA Revolution, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Very strange.
But it's not like they would have gotten much more anyway. You know what I mean?
Actually, you know what I thought was the coolest thing today was that backstage photo of someone's Instagram who wasn't even in the Rumble, took it backstage, of the 30 women, like in that dimly lit room. But
No,
that was real.
so that's from their rehearsals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought that was really cool and meaningful, but we were kind of deprived of getting more backstage stuff, more women talking to media about what it meant to them. It's like that photo is really the insight, and everything else was Ronda today.
Well, you don't want the photo because that shows that they were rehearsing a match.
Oh, I understand.
You know how WWE is with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I'm just saying the perspective of it.
Well, let's remember.
It's kind of like, oh, go ahead, Justin.
No, I was just say, let's remember that they did a very good job keeping the whole Ronda thing very secret. So, other than Alexa and Charlotte, Stephanie, Asuka, they probably didn't tell most of the girls what was happening. So, for a lot of for the Nias, maybe even for Nikki, who was the last person eliminated, they might have kept in the dark about what was happening. So for some of these girls, they might have found out about Ronda not too far off of when we all did as consumers. So
the majority of them did.
Yeah, hence their opinions of, hence their negative opinions on Twitter. It's not like they were in the know for the last 3 weeks. They kind of got blindsided on the day of.
But that's normal. I mean, Chris Jericho, when he'd make his surprise appearances, no one knew about him.
Right, but the point being is that this is this monumental Women's Day, and most of the females not finding out until last minute, so they're voicing their displeasure. Not saying it's right, but I'm saying it's not like this was a big this wasn't a big orchestrated. Hey, everybody's in a room with Ronda 3 weeks out type of thing.
I like it. Listen to me. Anytime you have conflict, it you know what I mean? It works.
I agree.
In my opinion. And I also like the girls I like them standing up. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because guess what? Guess what? The generation of female wrestlers, no offense to them, half of them I'm friends with, and I feel bad saying this about them, but the Marias, the Kellys, Michelle McCool actually was a good word. That generation of women's wrestlers, guys, like that like 5-year period, I want to say, they were doing pillow fights and boring ass crap. They weren't treated like athletes because half of them really weren't. They were Playboy pinup models, a lot of them. Do you know what I mean? And now we got women that actually are thoroughbreds. They're stud ass athletes, and they take it seriously. So I love the fact that they have some ownership of not just the women's revolution, but just wrestling in general. Do you know what I mean? And I like that a lot. I like them standing up for their beliefs.
Now, Matt, let me ask you this, since you know how the backstage workings go, but do you think Nia, because of how proud Stephanie is with this Ronda Rousey thing and how she attaches her to it, that she, like Nia Jax, she might, because Nikki Bella, she's kind of bulletproof. She's
okay, and so is The Rock's, what is she, niece?
Cousin.
But do you think she is as much as, because Nikki's also proven, Nia's not so much.
Doesn't in this one case, I love Nia Jax for doing this because she's The Rock's cousin, we said?
Yeah.
Sorry, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Therefore, no heat through association. The opposite of that, actually, over by association.
Somebody brought this up to me on Twitter today, and I apologize for forgetting their name. But outside of Stephanie McMahon, do any of you know, are there actually any female writers in WWE creative?
Ooh, great question. I don't know the answer to that.
There are none.
Really?
There are none currently. There used to be.
Okay.
Yeah, there have been some in the past.
Yeah. None currently on the roster.
Really? Out of like the 30 or whatever they currently have?
No, that's crazy, right?
I mean,
I know head writers for sure. There's not, but
no, I'm
still.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that there's none currently. So.
Why'd that take you so long to say that? Wait, hang on.
No.
So there's 30 writers?
Well, it's something like it's like 25.
No, Matt, here's the reason why.
Horrible.
Here's the reason why. 4 years ago, I interviewed with the 2 head writers at WWE at the time. There were female writers at the time. I'm pretty sure I've kept tabs since that point. Now there are no head. There's no
That's
writers.
Horrible.
Raj, that's a headline. Put it out there as a story. No
Seriously,
female
that's
writers.
horrible.
No, don't put
He's
it
right.
as
No, we
It'll shame them into hiring some.
Don't put it as a headline.
It'll shame them into
I mean,
hiring.
I could check with a couple people.
You should. I mean, seriously, that's a legitimate thing. If the women's division is going to be a focus, right? And the women's audience, women make up a huge portion of the WWE audience. Shouldn't that? I mean, look, given how they've written for the women in the past year, no one can tell me that it's going to potentially make things any worse. I think it could only improve the division.
Oh, absolutely.
I do too.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
So it's a thought. Okay, let's talk about this young upstart John Cena earning a spot in the Elimination Chamber at the expense of Finn Balor.
It's not like Finn Balor's been pushed lately. Well, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, with the bar, I mean, just Cena's going to wrestle Undertaker at WrestleMania. You know, I don't think he should be losing to Finn on Raw.
What?
Yeah, I don't. If he wasn't facing Taker, then for sure, go ahead.
John. Okay, so then let me ask you this: why is an Undertaker on TV and needing a desperate win too to go against John Cena? Then, by that logic, because he's Undertaker, right?
Cena doesn't need the win.
Because
I'm not
John
saying
Cena's
that.
John Cena. He's super. He's captain over. He don't need the win.
No, he's going to be in the Elimination Chamber. He adds the star power to that match, so you have to have him beat nobody.
Do we not get Taker until
After Elimination
or
Chamber?
the night after Chamber?
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm just saying, if he would have look, they put on a really hard fought match. I was expecting Finn was going to win. Cena was going to shake his hand and raise his hand, give him the rub, and it was like, finally, Finn Balor. We know he's not going to win Elimination Chamber, but they're pushing him again.
Yes, and I thought they were starting to push Finn Balor with having him be with the club again, giving him a lot of mic time, backstage vignettes. This new smile of his, apparently.
Yeah. Oh my God! I thought he was going to make Cena corpse with doing the little smiling at him, hitting him on the chest.
John Cena has managed to make Too Sweet not cool. John, stop doing it. You're the kiss of death. But I'm being dead serious. Like, this was an opportunity, to really put this dude over the top. It's about whatever happened to Bowers. You know what I mean? Not just new stars, but top main event level stars. And this would have helped immensely. He was doing it for AJ. He was doing it for others. I mean, we don't know how it went on backstage. But to my understanding, John specifically came back to put over the newer crop of talent, which I actually was giving him props for. I'm not saying he went tonight and said, I have to win. But I blame WWE for this. I don't think he needs to have a win in order to go against Taker and have it be believable, or any less buys are going to happen because John Cena lost to Finn Balor. No effing way. The upside here was much bigger than this. The upside was getting Finn to that point. You know what I mean? The crowd was farted on that finish.
Yeah, but I don't think they necessarily care to get Finn there. I think that's been clear. So in their minds, if Finn isn't in their plans to take, to a high card level, a upper level,
because they have so many main eventers. Is that why they have it so good that they have so many great main eventers? No, they don't.
No, I agree with you. But this is just what they've been doing for years.
He's
it takes.
He's not injured.
Daniel Bryan, remember how over he was, and they were planning to have him wrestle Sheamus at WrestleMania 30.
Do you remember?
And it wasn't until CM. Yeah, exactly. That's just their.
Well, Bryan was going to do Triple H that year.
What's that?
The Mania 30, Bryan was going to do Triple.
CM Punk was.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It took CM Punk quitting along with them listening to the fans too, right?
And Batista just falling apart as a babyface. Yeah. So that's just how they're thinking. They don't see Finn as that guy. So, yeah. I mean,
how do you know until you really don't know WWE until you give the guy? Yes, you did. You gave him he won the Universal Championship, but he didn't get an opportunity with it. He didn't get an opportunity being a top guy, okay? Because he got hurt. Okay, you can use that against him. I get it. Then use it against him and don't bring him back up to that level. But don't tease us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's Iron Man last night in the Rumble match. I mean, this seemed to be the trajectory they were going.
I think they're still doing something with him, guys, because they put him over huge. And they tell them what to say verbatim on those headsets. We know this. Hold on. Him over. You can't hear me?
No. Go ahead.
They were putting him over. They were putting him over huge after tonight's loss.
So real quick, when they're pushing a guy like in the Rumble, like as a main event push, it's usually not the Iron Man guy. It's usually the guy that gets all the eliminations. You know, the Iron Man guy is usually, you know,
there's multiple people that could be.
It's
pushed in the match. The guy that comes out and throws out 20 guys, the guy that lasts the longest, right?
Yeah,
Kofi
but the guy
doing weird stuff.
Yeah, but the guy that lasts the longest is usually not the guy that that is thrown out.
He's
the guy that lasts the
he's
longest.
the guy. He's usually the guy tomorrow. It's usually
exactly.
Like Ricky Steamboat level guy, right? But still at the
Exactly.
same, or Bret Hart type guy, I guess, at the time before he became champion. But like, what else I was going to say, was tonight after the loss, they were talking about him heavily. So I'm hoping it's not all dead as far as him getting that opportunity at the next level. I just don't need John Cena in the Elimination Chamber. I just don't.
Yeah. And Finn was eliminated last night by John Cena in the Rumble. So back-to-back.
What do you think? What do you think was going on with the whole Cena crowd reaction? Him like apologizing and seeming upset by it.
I didn't think he was upset. I didn't see him as upset. I saw him as the first thing you said. You know what I mean? The apologizing thing. John gets weird. He gets a hair on his ass every once in a while to do something different, and that's what I felt like he was doing tonight. And it was weird. It was super weird.
Yeah, you thought that was legit, not that he was told to act like that.
Definitely legit. Yeah, 100%. He's on his last leg. Like, he's almost done. You know what I mean? So I think he's doing kind of whatever he wants, in my opinion.
I think it'll play into the fact that I'm not giving up on the fact that it's going to be John Cena versus The Undertaker.
Okay, I agree with you. I think that's what it is too.
I think that he can use that as I've said for 2 years. The money match you have is Cena versus Taker. Loser retires, and while you'll probably lean towards Taker, you'll at least go. Well, maybe John, because John's doing all this Hollywood stuff. You know, if Taker fights anybody else, you know it's Taker. I think Taker versus Cena, we'd never seen it high profile in a big show, and I think that maybe this Taker fan stuff. You know, you can get John going. Look, I don't want to be the one that, you know, ends the career of the Phenom, and then Taker comes back at him saying, you know, shut the F up. You've never beat me in your whole career. That's where I think the money's at right now.
Yeah, but how do you think what was happening in the match tonight would lead to that?
Well, Cena being conscious. Cena always has shrugged. You know, he's always shrugged the fans off. Now that he's acknowledging the fans, and then when Taker confronts him, whenever that is in the next few weeks, now Cena needs he has to acknowledge the fans of, look, are you going to be the one that ends the career? Are you going to be the one that retires one of the greatest performers ever?
We shall see.
The greatest character of all time.
I agree.
Man, it's just disappointing.
Real quick, Coachman we're still on Cena.
No, go for it.
No, let's
No, Cena won. Cena won. It was disappointing end to a solid match that could have been an opportunity. And again, it is that sort of, we're disappointed that what we wanted to happen didn't happen. And I think the crowd was as well.
I wasn't disappointed. I was expecting it. I don't know. I just
thought
did you hear that, Wrestling Inc. fans? He's a Cena mark. Light him up.
No, it's not a Cena mark. But you know Cena's going to be in the main event.
Raj, when's the last time you really believed as a fan? You just marked out and were just like, I feel this emotionally. This is the moment I want. The little tear in the eye, felt like a kid again. When's the last time you got that feeling as a wrestling fan?
And last night with Nakamura winning, I was really happy about that. But there's also the realities of the business, and Cena's a big star, and they're going to put him in the main event of the pay-per-view he's going to be on. They're not going to put him against Cesaro and then Undertaker the next month in the biggest match on the show.
He doesn't have to be put up against anybody. That's the beauty of John Cena being John Cena. He's not anybody to validate going against Undertaker.
No, it's not to validate going against Undertaker. It's business. It's to get more people watching. He's their biggest star, and having their biggest star wrestling on the show.
Arguably their second biggest star now that Ronda's in the company.
Yeah, true. Well, we'll have to see how fans respond to Ronda after a while, because we've heard her you hear her promos, you see how she acts. How long will the Smarks tolerate that before they turn on her?
I agree with that. I think it's not going to be very long. I agree with that.
Yeah. Well, tonight
Can I just say?
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, go
guys.
for it.
Just one last thing. You talk about you need Cena in the main event. It's like, no, we don't need Cena in the main event because it's an elimination chamber. It's a multi-man main event. If there's ever a main event that he doesn't need to be a part of, it's a multi-man main event. The gimmick is the main event.
Yeah, but it adds star power to it. He's not winning it, so it doesn't hurt to have him in. And it's going to be Reigns winning it. Like, we know who's winning the match.
He has to, right? He has to.
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as
does he have to go against Brock?
Unless something happens that makes them say, all right, we're not doing Brock and Reigns, which has been what their plan has been for a year. That's the direction they're going. So.
That's a sin. I hate saying that because I like what Roman's friggin' great.
Yeah.
They just don't learn their lesson with him. They don't. You know what I mean? They don't take care of this guy. I don't understand I don't get. I'll be on that soapbox all day. I'll shut up.
I think at Mania, Brock versus Roman versus Braun is the best Mania. That's the best Mania title match you can give. That's the best
because you don't know. You don't
know. And they've all been.
I like that idea.
They've all been dancing around each other. Now again,
that's my boy in the main event.
I think that's the best main event. Again, I'm also not. I'm also realizing WWE might do Roman versus Brock, and to which case they say, okay, put Braun with Ronda. I'm in the Braun business. I want a Braun match. To me, there's three options for Braun. There's Braun with Ronda. There's Braun in the title match, or there's Braun versus Taker. Braun needs a high-profile match. Those are the only three effing options there are.
And it's probably going to be Braun versus Miz.
The A-lister.
I'm going to be very salty on this podcast.
Okay, so Braun and Ronda, let's talk about this tonight, though. We're seeing these promos for the Mixed Match Challenge with Braun and Alexa. Someone gave me crap that I called Braun, his little giggle he did tonight, like he was adorable. It was adorable to see Braun Strowman smiling and being out of character and being with Alexa in this interaction. That's why I think putting him with Ronda and the build up to that, it's going to be a mistake because I think it detracts from the character they're trying to build him as. I mean, Matt, I see your reaction there when I'm saying Braun acting adorable. That's the thing. It's like that's not Braun's character. I dig it because it's out of character, but
you don't want him out of character. There are certain people you don't want out of character. Lesnar's one, Braun's another, Undertaker's another,
and he's giggling with it. I mean, he's legitimately has a baby face. He looks like a big muscular.
He looks like Santa Claus. He looks like a young Santa Claus, so he shouldn't be doing that.
Braun looks like an infant with a beard.
Yeah, and that's the problem with him and Ronda is that's what I think we're seeing that with Alexa. Like, it is a incredibly charming, delightful pairing, but it is so out of character for Braun Strowman.
Yeah, that's why I don't like.
Please use different. Make him use different words, Raj. I don't like these words.
Yeah, don't use adorable.
You know what it's like? You know what it's like, Matt?
Make it stop.
When you see these vignettes, remember the cartoon Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling, and you see the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov being like these bumbling, funny guys.
Yep.
That's what it's like to have Braun the big giant with 3 foot tall Alexa.
But those weren't the real guys.
Yeah, I know, but that's what it comes off as. It's a caricature.
Yeah, I know. I don't think they should. I hated that they did that. I hated that they hadn't Braun as part of this mixed match challenge at all to begin with.
It's the same. It's the same thing we said about what's his name, right? Nakamura. The mixed tag thing killed him too a little bit. I didn't like.
Yeah, you have this monster that's killing, almost killing people every week, and now he's teaming with Alexa Bliss, for a charity. Like, man, protect that character.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah. So
yeah, they did. Someone did. Jesus Junior Millen bringing up in the comments about how Braun did that Elf segment on YouTube. Remember? During Christmas time,
that's it.
They did that Elf spoof, that Will Ferrell movie Elf, where Braun Strowman was the elf. He was the Will Ferrell character. You got it. I mean, it was like mind numbing that they're doing this.
don't
YouTube
lampshade your monster. Don't make it a joke at this stage. I mean,
Right.
let him get to the corporate Kane phase of his career 15 years from now.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't do it now. Look, here's what was remarkable about tonight. We had an S-ton of wrestling tonight.
And good wrestling. There were a lot of good matches.
Yes, there was.
Almost zero storyline. There was no story development, motivation, just completely devoid of that. And it's, I don't know. I get it. I get what they're doing. I get we're in Mania season, but it felt like, I don't want to say it was too much wrestling, but it felt like something was really missing.
You're absolutely. This is going to be one of the highest rated Raws of the year. And to Justin's point from earlier, there's going to be a big drop from the first hour to third hour because nothing happened. People tune in after the Rumble to see the WrestleMania stuff start getting set up. The big stars. This is when Undertaker usually comes back, and you start building the big.
You've been watching. If you're watching ESPN and everything all day, and you're hearing about Ronda Rousey, and then Raw opens with the women's recap of Stephanie and Asuka, and then Rousey. And you don't see her, or you get no tease of her.
You know, well, it wasn't going to be on because of the filming, but they could have filmed a backstage segment last night that they showed today. You know, something.
They should have done that. Yeah.
They should have done something, you know, to work around the fact that she's not there tonight.
You just got done saying though, Raj, about how John's they need main event or they need a big draw. If Raw draw, like Justin's predicting it will, and it will. It does every week anyway. What does that say about you saying John Cena being this big draw and this big, you know what I'm saying? Like, it shouldn't drop because they advertised John Cena versus Finn Balor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's the crazy part, though. So last night was about 30 women. Tonight we saw Asuka and Sasha. Why not take a page from these tweets with Nia, with Nikki? Why not have the women backstage saying, Ronda coming in? What does this mean? What does this mean for me?
They will.
Yeah.
They will.
I thought tonight would have been a good way to at least keep it.
But I liked it better that they had the one-on-one match. This was the first time they've done that, I thought, in a while. And I thought it made Sasha and Asuka look like real stars, and they killed it. And I thought, you know, I hope the rating goes up during that segment, during that match.
Hope so.
And that it was
take a Sasha.
We don't need another segment where all the women are clumped together talking about Ronda Rousey.
Oh, no, I agree about that.
Or 6-man or 8-man tags. Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Thank God for that. So. I'll tell you, man, Absolution and the Riot Squad, I feel like, are the biggest victims of Ronda Rousey coming out. I mean, with Paige out of Absolution now, I just see that dying a quick death.
Oh, you heard the reactions to them when they went in the Rumble last night, to them and the Riot Squad. It was just like crickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A real quick, Coachman returned to Raw, replaced Booker T. What'd you guys think?
Like he never left. I've always liked Coachman. When he wasn't doing a stupid heel character. Yeah.
And when he doesn't, he tends to do a lot of hyperbole. Like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. You know, he said that a few times during the show with like Sasha and in the Sasha Asuka match, which was crazy that dive outside, how nasty that looked. But there were a few things he'd say here and there where he was getting Tony Schiavone-ish.
Coach is a good commentator. It's going to be a challenge that he's on the same desk as Corey Graves. Because Corey is very good as a heel, as like an old school, like Bobby Heenan heel commentator. So Coachman's better as a heel, but he's not going to be a better heel than Corey. So they're going to have to figure out.
I thought he was a terrible heel.
That's what I thought. I thought he was like grating to listen to.
Remember how bad he
was? No. I agree. What I'm saying is Corey's the best heel.
Right.
I think Coach is a better heel than face. So it's like which one's your how far do you go? Which one's your?
I think Coach is a better face than heel, and so I think you have him slide in the Booker T role where Booker T was a face, except when Jason Jordan was on. But
relentless on him,
yeah.
I don't know, guys. Without Booker there, how am I supposed to know what I gotta love each week?
Oh, shucky ducky quack quack.
And Booker, he seemed like he was gonna kill Corey last night at the Rumble.
Loved it. I loved it. I love Corey.
Look. All respect. I mean, Booker T's he's a Hall of Fame guy. Mm-hmm. Booker is terrible commentary. Booker's is borderline embarrassing on commentary.
He's
So that was Raw tonight. after the Royal Rumble tomorrow, SmackDown Live. Do you think Bobby shows up tomorrow night, or
Is that a possibility?
is it Raj?
I think he can show up anytime now if they sign him.
Yeah.
But now I think with Raw such the A show, do you have Bobby on the B show? He seems more like there's a lot more.
How do you bring him in until you have something? Brock's done with his next feud, though.
Yeah. I mean, do you wait until Mania, after Mania, and then bring him in for Brock, or do you have him in a feud for now, have him destroy somebody to refamiliarize him with the fans, and then you go to Brock after Mania?
You need a big get the Monday after Raw, and that's it.
Well, we'll see. I'm sure we will have Sammy and Kevin versus AJ Part 2, the rematch, tomorrow night, because the tag never happened.
Right? Isn't that? Yep.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know. I'm not. My high from last night is not gone completely after tonight's Raw, but just it's a little anticlimactic.
So it seemed, and especially because they kind of changed the graphics and stuff, and
what was
they
up with
changed
that?
the look a little bit. I think they got a new theme song. They didn't have the opening video, but it looks like they got a new theme song
By Papa Roach, correct?
That's what it's seeming like. The Papa Roach sent out a tweet saying, watch Raw tonight.
They're still around.
Hey man, 20 years
they did
ago,
the Raw like 10 years ago, the Raw theme.
20 years ago, I was playing teen centers with those guys. Amazing, they're still a band.
So you would just think, doing all this, it felt fresh starting the show, and with all this media pub from Rousey, you thought like they're really gonna do something special tonight. And like I said, I thought it was a good show for any other week, but for coming off the Rumble and setting stuff up, it was. Now you can set Elimination Chamber and Mania up at the same time.
Right.
So, anyway.
3 weeks to Elimination Chamber.
3 weeks.
Be here before we know it. The Dudley Boyz are going in the Hall of Fame. We mentioned this earlier.
Matt, you've worked with them. What were your thoughts?
I'm gonna go watch it. I'm gonna watch them get inducted. Phenomenal teachers, actually. I'm in their prime on SmackDown. I remember me and Masters worked the dark against them in a tag, and they were so damn. It was such an education. It really, honestly was. Bubba used to get a bad rap for being a bully, and he was. I love both. We're friends to this day. We're very close, actually. We used to live down the street from one another. But like when I first got called up, he was a prick to me, a prick and a half. He was that way to everybody that was new. He made you earn his respect in a way. He wasn't as bad as Bradshaw was. Definitely wasn't as bad as Bob Holly was. He was a prick and a half. But, Bubba, at least there was some education behind it. He wanted you to get better, and he'd actually help you. You know what I mean? He'd help you correct your mistakes. So, I don't know if anybody knows that about him versus them just being the loudmouth of the two, Dudleys all the time and getting, backstage. People would always say he was a bully and stuff like that. I know that online, but I'm telling you, he is so much more than that, and I'm glad to see tag team wrestling has been dying a slow death over the years, and it was always cool to see them come out because they're tag team wrestling personified, right? Tag team wrestling at its best, brothers, and from the days in ECW, Insane Freak. I used to go to those shows. I used to bounce at a bar called Bar Anticipation or Bar A in New Jersey, and I saw my first ECW show in our volleyball sand pit, and I saw the Dudleys. And dude, the curse-laden promos that he used to cut. And he was doing that nightly, not just on these pay-per-views. And boy, oh boy, I couldn't tell what was real and what wasn't. Yeah. As a bouncer, I had no clue. I was kind of, and just super impressed with the act over the years. They definitely, let's call a spade, guys. When they first got brought in to WWE, a lot of people doubted it would work, because they're not Vince McMahon's wet dream, if you will, of what a superstar looks like physically, right? A little overweight, but
then the glasses.
So I was really excited that they got their chance because I was a huge mark for them. And when they came in, they cut their teeth the right way. They went through Bradshaw and Farouk, and they passed that very stiff test. And once they got the respect from them in the locker room, it was on and going for them. And they will always be part of that, the TLC series, as far as the legendary and historic matches that those matches were. those are. I mean, you go back and watch those WrestleMania. I think the other one was a SummerSlam, right? Insane still to this day. It still holds up. Those Chin and Edge, you know what I mean? And who's it? The Hardys. So I'm very, very happy, very, very proud of my friends, and could be more excited to go watch them get their just due finally and get that ring.
Yeah. And so Brad Shepard, who's written on Wrestling Inc., he was the one that broke the XFL story. He broke the story that Goldberg would be inducted and the Dudleys. So according to him, also expected for this year's Hall of Fame are Bam Bam Bigelow, Kid Rock in the celebrity wing, and Ivory. And then PW Insider, they're saying that also Mark Henry will be inducted. So that's a really good class.
Yeah, I'd be very excited for Mark. Mark's another one I'm close with, but I like sports. I would like to see there be like a 3 or 5 year, wait in between it, because there's so many that way that gets a lot of the guys from yesterday that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise,
when's the last time Mark's wrestled? I don't think he's wrestled since. I think he had one match last summer.
Yeah, but it's not been 5 years. You know what I mean? Like baseball or whatever it is.
Well, the Dudleys just left a little over a year ago.
And Goldberg was there just last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think there should be a certain kind of weight, unless it's like an Undertaker, right? Yeah. Or it's like a tragic injury, like Edge.
Or Ric Flair, where it's coming,
Flair. Yeah, like there's certain circumstances that should allow these superstars get in right away. But overall, it's gonna keep happening that they roll over these legends that are still not in and should be in.
Yeah,
is Rick Rude in?
Yeah, he was in last year. Bulldog's not in yet.
Bulldog's not in.
Bulldog's not in. Owen's not in because of the problems with the wife and WWE. But
Heart Foundation. Heart Foundation as a tag team should be in.
Well, that's the thing. We look at the Hall of Fame and compare it to other Hall of Fames from other sports. WWE Hall of Fame has no criteria. There's no standards. So WWE, when they put their Hall of Fame together, it's like putting together a wrestling show. They want a headliner, a mid-carder, a tag team, a woman, a manager. Yeah, so that's what it is. It's not.
It's true.
That's all it is.
You can still do that and do it right, though, and not forget yesterday's stars that got us to where we are. I'm talking about yesterday's stars. I'm talking about the 80s specifically. There's so many more of those guys that should be in the Hall of Fame.
Matt, I don't disagree with you, but you also have to look, again, spanning, what's going to sell tickets? And you have to do this every single year. That's where the conflict becomes. I don't disagree with you. There are people that should be in before those who are in already, but it's what's going to sell tickets each year. I mean,
from the 80s, who are they missing right now as far as WWF guys? I feel like they
tag teams.
King Kong Bundy's not in.
Nikolai Volkov's not in, right?
Bulldogs aren't in. I don't think Demolition's not in.
Demolition won't go in because they Axe's bad terms.
Akeem / one man gang.
Right. Yeah, he's not in.
I know I've said this before.
I'm sorry. Tag teams. The tag teams. Killer Bees, I don't care what anybody says, they should be in there as a tag team. Heart Foundation. The British Bulldogs together. I don't care what you know what I mean? They're beef with, I just think they should put more tag teams in.
If you put the Heart Foundation in, do you put it in as Brett and Jim, the Anvil Neidhart, or do you do it as when they did the group with Owen and Bulldog? You
got to do it first with the original. You have to do it first with Neidhart.
Right, but to what Matt's saying is everything Matt's saying is valid to a true wrestling fan. But then after a wrestling fan, based upon what? What do fans know now of the statistics and the accomplishments and historic? What do they know of the Heart Foundation? That's what I'm saying.
What today's common fan knows about Roberto Clemente for baseball?
I live in Pittsburgh. I agree with you.
We're not saying they should be the headliners, but underneath. They should definitely be in because you're not selling tickets on these guys.
Have 3D come in, and then have your Heart Foundation and have your Bulldogs in, have your Killer Bees in, year by year by year.
Natural disasters. There's some good ones. People are naming Vader, of course. Pillman's not in yet. Is Pillman not in?
No, really?
Oh yeah, maybe he's not. China, of course.
China, definitely.
Yeah, Kamala.
Kamala, I thought of him too. I thought you guys would laugh at me though. So
No, the one I've said that before. I said it again on Twitter today. Why is Cyndi Lauper not a celebrity inductee?
Should have been the first or one of them.
Either she turned it down because it makes no sense otherwise.
She came back in 2012 though and did that in-ring segment with Piper. I mean,
Kid Rock's going in before Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah.
Well, Drew Carey went in before.
I'm a Kid Rock fan. Hate on me. I'm a Kid Rock
Cyndi Lauper is probably responsible, at least 25% responsible for our generation's initial interest in the WWE.
Yeah,
seriously, that was
Mr. T.
huge.
Piper.
Yeah,
dude, do you guys remember how huge that was? Like all your neighbors were watching. Everybody was watching that.
Yeah, that thing did that war to settle the score on MTV when Cyndi Lauper got involved. It did like an 8.2 rating or something like that. Which
and the brawl that ended all.
Dude,
yeah, it was.
MTV was at its peak. Like it was so hot then. You remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I missed those days.
Me too.
It was awesome.
Me too, man.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe she turned it down. I think. But why would she come back in 2012 though? You know, I mean,
was she promoting a CD or something then?
Maybe. I mean, she did the Celebrity Apprentice, so it can't be a political issue with Vince. Yeah. I mean, who knows?
Who knows? Could definitely be in.
Yeah. So there's a lot more. I mean, yeah, there's a lot more people. I'm sure they will get a lot more in this year. I'm surprised with Pillman. That's a very big oversight.
Well, they always like to have just usually like one dead person per year. I know it sounds bad,
sounds funny.
But that's true. They don't like to have too many because I think
get these other guys in while they're alive. Don't wait.
Well, let's also look too. I mean, you have to also look what did Pillman do in his body of work with WWE. But
it's not just WWE, right?
It's not WWE anymore. Remember, it's everything.
I know. But
the Four Horsemen are in.
I agree with everything you're saying, but I still think it's a valid thing they think about. Like, what did Pillman do for them? Rightly or wrongly, that I think that's part of the mindset. What did he do for them?
Sure, to a degree, yeah. But I don't know.
He's in a couple of those top 100 Raw moments of all time.
Yeah, he pulled a gun on Stone Cold.
Everyone remembers it. Everyone remembers it.
I mean, that was one of the biggest TV moments of the 90s, not just wrestling.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Yes, I agree.
And it was kind of badass when you think about it.
Yeah, that was the story about has TV gone too far? Has wrestling gone too far?
I was in college in Hawaii when that happened, and my mom called me from Connecticut. It was like such a time zone difference, and asking me, was that real? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was so big.
I hated when they said that they lost the feed right as he was going to pull. They should have just said we cut away from it because we didn't know what was going to happen. Anyway,
I don't think I was so smart yet.
No one would have believed Vince McMahon would cut away from that.
If there's going to murder about to happen,
I thought that was real. I'd be honest. Sadly, I'm being honest. I thought that was real.
I remember I was glued to my TV. I could not turn away. I mean, I thought that was it went too far. I remember thinking, "Wow,
what was the bigger gun moment? That or Austin pulling the gun on Vince? It says bang 360.
For sound bites, okay, and visuals, the Austin one, obviously, but I wasn't believing that was really going to be a gun.
Yeah, Austin and Vince, you knew. I assumed it was a water gun or something and had probably piss in it, you know? Yep. Because it was being done for comedy, whereas the Pillman Austin thing felt so intense. So I definitely that one was more. I mean, obviously you knew nothing was going to happen. You knew scripted.
For Pillman, I didn't know that. I swear to you guys, I'll admit it right now. Like, I so thought that was real.
Well, because it felt like watching an episode of Cops, the way they shot it at the time. I mean,
yes,
it was so great.
I was old enough too to know better. I swear to you.
And we didn't know.
We're the same age.
And we didn't know Stone Cold as a character enough yet. By the time they did the in-ring thing with the gun, it was like, okay, well, Steve Austin's not gonna pull that gun and shoot.
It was the first episode of Live PD. That's all it was.
Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, more announcements to come. WrestleMania 69 days away. New Orleans. Get your tickets. SummerSlam goes on sale this weekend.
Yep. All right.
Oh man, so we're gonna be back here Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern, talking SmackDown Live. Happening tomorrow night. We'll see if there's any further fallout from the Rumble. I'm sure we'll get some Nakamura promos.
Ken Anderson, Justin, and Sean LaBar. Justin will be joining us. Sean Davari and Ken Anderson will be there as well.
Wait, Wednesday?
Yeah. Right?
Oh,
You're on there.
I'm on there with Ken?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, you were just over there, right?
Jesus Christ.
You were just there a few weeks ago. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we take it home here, everyone has hung with us tonight. This has been a
Thanks,
great,
guys.
longer episode of the podcast. So a lot of interest right now. Like Raj said, since Mania, this just keeps spiking. Mr. Matt Morgan, to you first. What would you like to plug tonight before we take it home?
That I got my friend, me and my wife's friend, Nicolette Burton, a tryout with WWE coming up very soon. This chick is jacked, 6'1", like the female version of me almost, as far as potential goes, and like the physique goes and the athleticism goes, and lifelong fan, and I just wish her the best. Hope she kills it. She watches the show regularly. She's a huge wrestling fan to begin with. She watches everything, and just man, like I'm telling you right now, if they do it right with her, this chick could be the 10th wonder of the world. She is that impressive.
Nice.
So fingers crossed for her, and wish her luck.
We wish her luck. Mr. Justin LaBar, what would you like to plug?
At Justin LaBar, my Twitter, everything's there. My audio podcast, video, print, everything. Yeah, that's best thing to find me.
And Raj, what should people look for on the site?
Just so much stuff, man. So just, if you check it out 6 hours later, the headlines have completely changed. So
yeah,
just tons of news, and
stay
just keep checking
tuned
it out.
for more female WWE superstars throwing shade at Ronda Rousey. Wrestling Inc. will have all the updates. I'm Glenn Rubenstein. You can find me on Twitter at Glenn Rubenstein. I'd appreciate a follow. And we'll be back here Wednesday, 12 noon. So until then, folks, we'll see you back here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.